Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Cook Serve Delicious. I guess more accurately, this is the Steam edition of Cook Serve Delicious, because I did look at this back when it came out on Desura, a little bit later in 2012. And this is a game that, when I initially played it, before I initially played it, I should say, I was very skeptical. It's a restaurant simulator slash kind of like quick time event focused mini game collection, to put it in a weird kind of context that is not necessarily representative of what it's actually like. So I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. It looks like it's for filthy casuals and not for a hardcore, you know, Paradox grand strategy playing guy like myself. About 10 minutes into it, it's like, I am so wrong. This is incredibly fun, insanely addictive. And over the course of the past year or so, I guess it's actually only been about 9 months since I initially played it, picked up the iOS and Android versions, play them constantly when I'm on an airplane or a bus or any kind of road trip like that. It's probably my most played Android game at this point, and my girlfriend Kate as well picked up a copy and plays it like crazy. So I was thrilled to see that the Greenlight campaign for this game, which had been going on for like a year, actually managed to finish successfully with that like 100 game group that got greenlit later on this summer. Now the game's actually out on Steam. We're gonna play it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Probably most of you watching this would be very interested in this game, and why, if you like food or fun, you should probably pick it up. But before we get started here, let me just check something very quickly. Okay, that looks fine. And we'll get started, because the best way to show off what that actually is, happening in Cook Serve Delicious is to actually play it. So what this is a restaurant simulator, so to speak. It's kind of like a restaurant-focused arcade game, but it's not a tycoon game, so you're not managing spreadsheets, and you're not, looking at prices and looking at the supply chain and figuring out where you can buy, industrial-sized pickled jalapenos for the cheapest price. All you do is you buy foods, which is essentially the same as like learning a recipe. You make the foods in your restaurant, you choose which foods you serve, and you will have to rotate those in and out. And then people walk into your restaurant, and you basically complete a short quest to give them their food. So right now I have 4 ordering slots. That's what's going on the left side there. Apparently we can also order occasionally our toilet being flushed. But people will walk in and they'll order food that's on my menu. Right now I have fish, salad, beer, and soda. So that should cover basically all of the major demographics. This lady is a safety inspector, actually. And everyone comes in with a kind of different set of criteria for their order depending on what food they're ordering. So if you order fish, it's very simple. You get fish. It's the same every time. It's standardized. If you order beer, it's standardized. If you order salad or soda, it changes every single time based on criteria like, do you want ice? Do you want it to be small, medium, or large? Do you want ranch dressing? Or you can eventually buy other kinds of dressing. So it might not seem like it's that crazy so far, but what this game is really good at is putting you in that kind of like overwhelming flow state where true meditative zen can appear. Large grape with ice. Got it. By the way, this is going to be a very difficult game to play and talk about at the same time. Medium water with ice. Okay. Oh, serve the food, you god darn dummy. It's Cook Serve Delicious, not cook just stand there. Ranch and cheese. Okay. So, at 2 periods throughout the day, and it does go on like a day-night cycle, to put it in weirdly DayZ-ish terms that are not necessarily totally relevant. So you start at like 9 in the morning, and you're serving, whatever you have. If there are breakfast foods, people will be more likely to order them there. Small diet with ice. I can do that. And if you mess up the orders, by the way, that is something you don't want to do, because it creates negative buzz for your restaurant. Buzz is kind of the currency at which your restaurant deals in, and the more buzz you have, the more customers you're going to get, the more difficult the game is going to become, and the more fun the game is going to become, because you're constantly going to be managing more and more orders. 30% buzz is actually very, very low. This is pretty early on in the game. It's only about maybe 40 minutes in, but I played so much of the game on other platforms that I was like, I played a couple days, and I was like, yep, this is Cook Serve Delicious, all right. I like it. So once rush hour finishes, that's like your traditional lunchtime and dinner time breaks. Things usually ease up a little bit, and you can start to relax a little bit. This health inspector feels like she's been here for like 100 years. So yes, we'll get a variety of dishes, we'll get a variety of chores, and our overarching goal is to eventually build a 5-star restaurant that, competes with the best in the world. But we're starting with kind of like diner-type stuff here. Eventually, we'll work our way up to more advanced foods and foods that are much more difficult to cook, and eventually we will you hopefully have a restaurant that's, worthy of being on the Food Network or something like that, even though we are just kind of like a upstart diner right now. So I mentioned buzz, but one of the other things that is important is the actual kind of conditions that are outside of your control, and this is where the game gets a little bit more strategic. It's not simply about the gameplay that takes place within the day. Oh, I hate doing dishes. These chores, some of them are crazy easy, and some of them are very, very difficult. But there actually are some more strategic elements in the game that you might not be immediately aware of if you start playing it, or if you just watch a video like this. So, I've mentioned that buzz goes up when you serve customers consistently well, and buzz goes down when you misprepare their order in a major or a minor way. But it also goes up and down based on what foods you have on your menu. For example, I mentioned that I have beer on my menu, but because my restaurant is located in an office complex, that actually gives me a 5% buzz hit because, well, it's kind of, I guess, an unintentional wordplay there. Buzz hit, beer, anyway. The people frown upon, you know, having alcohol served in their office environments, ranch cheese, mushrooms, and tomatoes. So that gives me like minus buzz. But you can also get foods that give you positive buzz. I also have a minus buzz for having fish in the morning. So like every morning I take a 5% buzz hit because people don't want to smell fish when they're getting ready to go to work. I don't know. People have problems with fish. Fish is one of my favorite foods. Well, you know, obviously there's a variety of different fish. And not all fish are created equal in a culinary standpoint, but I like the aroma of fish. Whenever people are like, I don't like fish, it smells fishy, I'm like, you check yourself before you wreck yourself. You should become a pescatarian. It's delicious, and omega-3s up your butt. I mean, in your mouth, predominantly, but that's up to you. I'm not going to push my beliefs on anybody else. Anyway, this is getting completely irrelevant. The buzz indicators that you can see, there's 3 active buzz indicators, and I'm trying to see what some of those are. But again, this is kind of a game where, you know, multitasking takes precedence, so I've got to... Oh, man, we have, like, the hardest, or the slowest chores, plus a salad right now. I've really got to get to this stuff before... Oh, 1, ranch cheese, mushrooms, and then we'll put the garbage out. I might actually end up missing someone's order here. Obviously, as you get more and more things, you got to manage your time a little bit more effectively, and as your restaurant becomes more popular, you really got to be fast. So, you know, it's almost got kind of like the same kind of gameplay trade-offs as something like Papers, Please, where you're like, okay, I want to finish these orders quickly so I can get to everyone's order and make as much money as possible, but I make more money if I'm more careful and I never make mistakes. But, you know, the temptation to rush things is definitely there. But anyway, the active buzz indicators are gone, but I think one of them, the one you can see right now, is like I get a little extra buzz because I have foods on my menu that are suitable for the late night. I think beer is one of those. So even though I get a 5% buzz hit from beer because it's served in an office type setting, I think maybe after hours I maybe get like a 10% buzz boost, and we can check on that once we actually... finish this day. So as you can probably see here, every day in Cooks Are Delicious, it ends at 10 p.m. So probably around 6 minutes maybe for the entire day. I'm not sure if there's any way to actually check that. I guess it should be the same length of time every time, unless someone comes in right before close and then orders a very substantial dish, which could happen. We got 2 minutes left. Okay, good. So the restaurant's closed, and you get an indication of how things have gone for you. We got $50 in tips. That's actually pretty good for... a day early on like this. We served 54 perfect orders, 0 average, 0 bad. Now, I want to stress this because it might seem like this game is super easy. First off, this is very early. Secondly, I've designed my menu to be easy and full of foods that are very, very easy to prepare because I am a dumb animal and I can't handle multitasking with so many different minute moving parts. Thirdly, I played like 8 to 10 hours of this game over the course of the past year or so. So this is not probably representative of how you'll play. And within like an hour or two, I will probably be hitting above my weight class. Like I'll be in a situation where I just can't handle it and my restaurant starts to get negative buzz. Anyway, most important thing, we earned $424 and we earned 27 positive buzz as well, which is cool. So this screen represents what we need to do in order to become a 2-star restaurant. And this is one of the very few kind of minor complaints I have about the game, is that there is a little bit of grinding involved. Like, if you find yourself being amazing at Cooks Are Delicious right off the bat, you're probably going to achieve all of these objectives except one, and there's no way to really speed up, complete 20 days of service. You just gotta do it. Now, there's positives to this, because it forces you to also earn money, and you use that money to buy more foods and upgrades for your restaurant that'll make it easier for you to survive and thrive when you're a 2, 3, 4, etc. star restaurant. But still, I'm like, let me move up, let me get some more buzz. Like, I'm already ready for it. But keep in mind that I am kind of a fringe case here as someone who has already played the game extensively before. So, now we're back at this kind of main menu screen here, and we can take a look at our emails, and the emails will explain things that we can do with our money or quests that are available to us, for example. So salad upgrade is available. An upgrade for the salad is now available. We can go check that out in our food upgrade menu. So you can upgrade your foods. Usually it allows you to charge a little bit more for them, but it costs you a lot of money outright. So it's got kind of that like cookie clicker type vibe to it where you're like, I could invest like $900 in this salad upgrade right now, but then I'll get $2 for every salad I serve ad infinitum, right? And you can also see when you click on the food, you can see like the buzz indicators that you get. So this is a staple food. This means it never gets menu rot. Some foods like fish, lasagna, they get menu rot, which means people get tired of ordering them. But things like, you know, soup sandwiches, french fries, those are so standard that they don't actually get menu rot, so you never have to swap them in and out. It's a health nut, so we get plus 5% buzz and plus 5% buzz for each additional health nuts food on the menu. It's to go, so you get plus 2.5 buzz boost. It's an afternoon pick-me-up, so again, plus 2.5% buzz, but it creates a lot of trash because there's a lot of ingredients, and it creates a lot of dishes, I guess. So that's an indicator of what the food is like. We could also, you know, upgrade our soda if we want to. It's worth noting, though, as you upgrade, it's not just a merely, like, financial decision. You can also see that it says it includes Henry's Thousand Island dressing as well as 6 new recipe cards. What that means is instead of, like, the 4 ingredients plus dressing plus cheese that I currently have for salad, this will give me, like, 10 ingredients plus 2 dressings plus cheese, and now I'll have to look and see, like, even more closely what people are actually ordering. So it will make more of a difference in my revenue for sure, but it'll also make more of a difference in the amount of time that I have to spend per order. So there is you know, constantly that trade-off that you have to worry about. If we wanted to, we could also upgrade our equipment. For example, I've already bought tip trays and table snacks. Table snacks basically make customers more patient because they can snack on peanuts while they're waiting, Five Guys style. Tip trays just give us tips, and you know, this is a no-brainer purchase, 50 bucks. We made that back yesterday. But we could also, if we wanted to, buy well, I guess we can't get any of this stuff quite. Oh, we can get some of this stuff. We can get stuff that either helps us by opening up new menu options for us, or things that make chores a lot easier. So, for example, I've been complaining about dishes. What I could do is spend $800 on a dishwasher, and by purchasing this, then I'll have half as many dishes, and that means I'll spend less time doing those chores. So again, this is also a little bit of a trade-off. You know, do you want to spend your money? Oh, let me go back here. Do you want to spend your money on maybe getting a grill station so you can make burgers, which are obviously going to be popular, nachos, etc., etc.? Or do you want to spend your money maybe making your actual life easier when you're in the game by picking up things that make chores easier to do? So let's go back to our daily menu here, and we can swap some things out. I have purchased some other foods. Why don't we replace soda with wine, and we'll replace fish, which is getting menu rot now, with lasagna. Again, this is still very, very early in the game. Foods are not that pricey. I guess I should show you what you can buy. So this changes as you kind of go up the ranks with respect to restaurant quality. So right now, you know, I've got some fairly stock options. I've got sort of pub-ish foods, fried foods, as well as more standard stuff like, you know, steak, chicken breast, pizza, etc., etc. Some of them are locked to me until I unlock certain equipment. Like, for example, I can't make burgers until I get a grill. Same with nachos, weirdly enough. But, you know, things like french fries, sopapillos, and actually, I don't know, that's sopapillos. Okay, what is, or sopapillas. That's fried chicken. Okay, kind of a similar looking picture for each one there. You need a deep fryer for those, basically. There's also specialty foods, which I actually have not looked at so far. I guess things like breakfast sandwiches, sushi, that makes complete sense. Lobster, you probably have to buy certain cooking tools, I guess, to use this. And again, you can see the buzz on stuff like this. So eventually you could kind of design your restaurant in such a way that it caters to a specific audience. Maybe you've got a lot of expensive foods on the menu, or maybe you want to get like a nice mix of, you know, budget price to expensive foods on your menu, drawing a wide consumer base. I don't know. That stuff's all more tied to the management side, which, to be honest with you, I haven't spent that much time with. I mostly just make the menu as easy as possible for me to get a perfect combo, and then just basically grind my way through the level. So why don't we start a new day here? I totally should have looked at our active buzz, my mistake. Because sometimes you look at your buzz and you'll be like, whoa, my buzz is like 193% today. Okay, PSCR, okay. So basically, the way that the lasagna works is that you're layering the ingredients in a certain way. It's like pasta, sauce, cheese, parmesan, or something like that, over and over. I know parmesan is a cheese, but anyway. That's what's kind of cool about Cook Serve Delicious, is that every time you get a new food, it does give you the opportunity to practice it, but I chose not to because, you know, time is money, baby. But, every food is a little bit different. Like, beer is served just by holding down the arrow key. You could use your mouse for this, by the way. And this is a game that was on touchpads, and I've played a lot of this on the touchpad, but I actually much prefer the keyboard controls because there's some kind of like tactile nature of it. You're actually like hitting a button. It feels more satisfying and kind of more deliberate to me. I actually like am substantially better at the PC version of the game than the touchscreen, even though you might think that the touchscreen controls would be more intuitive. You can also use your mouse. Basically what I'm getting at is you're not going to have any control problems when you play the game. But yeah, as you can see, like every food is made differently. It's not like replacing fish with lasagna on your menu is just like a palette swap of some kind of ingredients or colors or something like that. You're actually like actively doing a different thing each time, and the lasagna is a little bit more difficult to prepare than the fish. I'm not sure if that's actually balanced for okay, I've got to just take a second to actually focus on this. I'm not sure if that's balanced for with like the price of the dish or something like that, but oh no, I spoiled the beer and now he's gonna be mad. That was the first order I think I've messed up over the course of this. But you can see for sure the value of the dishwasher that I got, because now I spend substantially less time doing dishes. And of course, the earlier you buy upgrades, the better it's gonna be for you in the long run. Now let's pop this wine. This is the first time I've done it over the course of this video. There we go. So in this one, again, serving wine is very different than serving beer. You're not just like tipping over a bottle or pulling on a tap or something like that. You're actually uncorking it, and it requires a completely different set of tactile movements. What this means is that your brain is like constantly going through these routines and like swapping between them, and it makes it really, really satisfying and always feel pretty varied to play. And if you ever get kind of tired of what you're doing, you can just replace the items on your menu and then it'll be totally different. But there's something weirdly satisfying about I don't know, just like typing in a combo. It almost feels like you're playing a fighting game at times. Like some guy walks in and you're like, you want the lasagna? Oh, that's the PSCR combo, motherfucker. And you're PSCR, PSCR, and then you hit enter. And or somebody comes in and they want the fish and you're like, that's the quarter circle forward plus light punch. You just do it up, and it really feels like it's like pattern recognition in the same way almost that something like a fighting game or even like a Punch-Out type game is. And it is eminently satisfying to find yourself getting substantially better at the game the more you play. And I am proof positive of that, because over the course of, again, the past year, I've gone from being someone who was pretty terrible at this game to actually being pretty solid, and found myself satisfied the entire time as a result. And one thing I want to mention is I went back and I watched a little bit of my earlier Let's Look at of Cook Serve Delicious, and I was very positive in that, and I think that was smart, but there was kind of this underlying current of, you know, I don't know why I like this game. Like, I'm weirdly kind of interested in this game. I don't get it. And I was like, I think what I was trying to do is hedge my bets and be like, this game looks like it's like a Facebook game. And I kind of expected the reaction to people watching it, not actually playing it themselves, to be like, oh, that looks like a casual, like casual experience. I'm too hardcore for this. Why would anyone buy this? Like, this looks like something my grandma would play on Facebook. That's totally not true, and it was really shitty of me to be like, oh, I can't believe I'm weirdly satisfied by this game. You know what makes me weirdly satisfied by this game? It's good. There's nothing weird about it. That's why it's satisfying, just because it comes in kind of a different package that is maybe not the most common aesthetic choice or common setting for a game to be seen in, you know, the hardcore PC gaming world. Doesn't mean it's not a fun experience. It's a really fun experience. And I think I also kind of wrote it off a little bit because I'm very cynical about the state of mobile games, but that was a mistake too. This is inevitably, or not inevitably, but undoubtedly one of the games that I've had the most fun with in 2013. That's not to say that everybody's going to be into it. Of course, you know, this is a game that I think appeals to a certain kind of person. And you can probably tell whether you are that kind of person just by watching this video right now. I apologize for kind of the disjointed nature of my commentary. I gotta get these people drunk. Work's over. Spring break. And actually, today's going pretty well. You can see my active buzz modifiers there. I actually don't know what the... Oh, let's get the lasagna out there first. Alcohol is really easy to serve, and it makes us a lot of money, which is why I keep it on the menu perpetually. It's actually substantially easier to serve than soda. People tip better than with soda, and... it's more expensive than soda as well, so it's a good choice, even though it does convey negative buzz hits, I think. Positive buzz hits for the consumers, though, of course. But yeah, you know, if you're the kind of person you want, like, a very slow experience that's, you know, more strategic in nature than necessarily active in nature. For example, if you're the kind of person who only likes Oh god, ranch, cheese, bacons, and croutons. If you're the kind of person who only likes like Paradox grand strategy games, and of course I'm not shit-talking Paradox grand strategy games, I love the shit out of those. But if you're the kind of person who's like, that's why I sit down on my computer and play games, Cook Serve Delicious is not going to be for you. But other than that, this is a very accessible, light strategic game with incredibly fun moment-to-moment gameplay that is insanely addictive. I don't know how much I've touched on that yet, but this is a game that, you know, maybe you get on an airplane, you start playing it on your iPad or something, and then you're just there. Like, Kate and I played this on when we went to San Francisco last summer. Oh, PSCR. And, you know, it's like a 3-hour flight or something, and we took off, and then we could use electronic devices, and then we just, like, grinded our restaurant up to 3 stars, and we're like, yeah, that was, like, the best flight I've ever had in my entire life. Now, obviously, this is a PC version, and you're actually, you know, sitting down and playing it. You're not trying to be distracted from your own inevitable mortality from flying on a chair in the sky, but it's still absolutely engrossing and addictive in spite of that, which is something that I don't often say about a lot of games that come kind of from mobile to Steam, although that's not necessarily the kind of distribution path that this game took. A lot of those games, I'm like, yeah, I could see myself like playing this when I don't have anything better to do. The truth is, Cook Serve Delicious will swallow your time, and it'll spit out a delicious nugget of enjoyment for you in exchange for that. So that's, I mean, it's not all I want to talk about with respect to Cook Serve Delicious. This is still so early in the game that there's some things we haven't seen. Like occasionally, here's the exact one thing I was going to talk about. We will get bets from people as we get further, or bets exclusively from Crazy Dave here. So we'll say, he's just a dude who's addicted to gambling, basically. He says, there's no better way to earn some fast cash than putting up a few bets against your skills as a cook. You accept my bet, I'll take your $300 today and see how you do. If you win the bet, I'll give you $600 tomorrow. You lose and I just keep your $300. And the bet is, can you make 15 perfect orders in a row? So you constantly have like these prop bets that show up that you can choose to take or not take. Obviously, this is a pretty easy one, and I would expect to make my money back. But there are also, if I go back here, eventually there will be catering jobs. So we'll have the option to like cater birthday parties or corporate events or stuff like that. And usually that's like a very limited menu. We get paid a lot, but there's special conditions, like maybe instead of 4 menu slots, there's 8 menu slots, or maybe there's one dish, but the dish has like a highly varied style of preparing it. Like maybe there's many different toppings and people all want different combinations. There are also upgrades that you can purchase. Like you can purchase more menu slots for yourself as well. Or I think maybe that just happens when you become like a 2- and 3-star restaurant. So it's not always going to be, you know, you're not going to be hamstrung to only having 4 orders going simultaneously. You can get 5, 6, 7, or at least 5 and 6. I don't know if I've ever seen 7. But basically what I'm getting at is there is some progression that keeps the game both fresh and challenging as you move forward. So it's never going to become just muscle memory unless you've played a lot of it and now you're going back into the early game, which is where I am right now. That's all I'm really going to talk about with Cook Serve Delicious here, but suffice it to say, this should serve as a fairly glowing recommendation of a game that I never really wrote it off, but I initially was like, you know, it's Diner Dash. It's not Diner Dash. It's incredibly fun. It's now out on Steam. It's $10, and there's a link in the video description below. If you let it, it will definitely take over at least a weekend of your life, and I really can't recommend this enough if you're looking for a kind of a fresh experience that is a little bit different than anything you have probably played throughout this year, although I know that this is like a spiritual successor to like a Japanese game that kind of had similar gameplay to this. This is a very refined experience. It's a lot of fun. I encourage you to pick it up. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it. It helps me out a lot. Make sure to check out the game on Steam via the store page in the video description below. As always, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more first impressions of games like this. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.